Well, here we are, my friends. The nights are growing longer. There's a foul breeze wafting across the Vale like Josh's hairspray. Halloween is here. Whether you're going all out and have a complete tearaway skin suit so that you and a friend can go as Pyramid Head and Unfortunate Victim, or just being a sexy Mario, Halloween is a brilliant time of year for all of us to celebrate the spooky and the true terror that is tooth decay from too many sweets. However, let's say that you're not willing to go out and get scared and mix with all of the creepy people in your street as they hammer on doors and throw eggs and insults at windows and just want to stay tucked up inside with some video games. Well, lucky you, my friend, because with the following secrets and special items, you'll be able to enjoy Halloween with style, because I'm Ghouls from WhatCulture.com, and these are 8 video game secrets that only appear on Halloween. Ooh. Number 8, Demon's Souls. As many of you know, Demon's Souls is a rather hard game. Not as hard as, say, growing up with a posh voice in Gateshead, but pretty close. And yet, it seemed that for the devs of the game, that experience wasn't punishing enough. I say this because in 2009, on Halloween, for some reason or another, From Software made the game even harder by upping the damage the player took by one whole game playthrough, as well as the damage dealt by the player reducing by up to a third in places. This PR stunt was trying to play into the challenging nature of the games in such a way that fans have been begging for it to be added back in future years. But alas, nothing has been done in a similar sense since. Imagine not knowing this and playing the game online on the hallowed of Eve and getting backstabbed more than when your mate tells you that he's a blade of the Dark Moon and then it turns out that he's part of the Dark Wraiths and then he stabs you in the bloody back. Number 7, Minecraft. Minecraft is such a cheery and friendly, peaceful game, a title where you stack blocks and ride pigs with your mate until the sun goes down. And then it begins. As the shadows creep in and the light dies, you might notice a chill in the air, because that's when the creepers and skeletons and the like emerge, and all they want to do is get into your lovely cuboid house and make an absolute mess of things. However, it is not something that you'll have to deal with all the time, as thankfully these nasties burn in the sunlight, meaning that you're safe to frolic and grab some square-based sunlight. That is unless you're playing on Halloween, which completely inverts the laws of Notch's nature, and here, now the enemies spawn with jack-o'-lanterns for head, and that has 2 side effects. 1, they look adorable, and it's nice seeing the bad guys getting into the spirit, and 2, it makes them immune to sunlight, meaning that enemies such as zombies and zombie pigmen can now attack you in the middle of the day, and if you're trying to escape them in the caves, then watch out, because bats also spawn at a much higher rate and will likely give you another massive fright. This is meant to be a kid's game. Number 6, Simpsons Hit and Run. Not enough gets said about how utterly brilliant the Simpsons Hit and Run game is. And yes, while it might have drawn heavily on the likes of the Grand Theft Auto series, it is so much more than just a yellow-coated clone. The comedy is on point, the voice acting is at once completely cheesy and at the same time in complete keeping with the show itself, and the missions are so fun and varied that you'll find yourself engrossed from start to finish. It's like a blancmange, smother me. In short, remaster this, please. Another lovely touch is the fact that the menus actually change for certain events, such as Christmas and, of course, Halloween. And yes, I know that a lot of games do stuff like adding in a few pumpkins or spooky creatures on this date, but as I said before, I want as many eyes on this game as possible, so forgive me for playing favourites. On October the 31st, you'll find that the lights have been dimmed, an eerie jack-o'-lantern stares back at you, and probably most worrying of all, there's a skeleton slumped up against the wall. I say worrying because it doesn't actually look like a proper decoration and more of an unfortunate soul who's passed on while waiting for this game to get a remaster. And yes, I know I'm repeating myself, remaster please. Number 5, City of Heroes. City of Heroes is no stranger to theming their game around certain special events, and would often bedeck a no-fire area of the world known as Pocket D, which is a fashionable nightclub in which villains and heroes could mingle with all sorts of relevant items. There would even be custom missions for the events that one could take part in, like rescuing the New Year's baby on New Year's. That's fun. However, the Halloween theme event is our focus today, and aside from swarming the servers of heroes and villains with vampires, werewolves and zombies, you could actually see the world plunged into eternal night. And funnily enough, this would actually have an effect on the game by preventing mission givers and NPCs who spawn only during the day from showing up. You can also take part in an extreme version of Trick or Treat, which allowed players to knock on doors in the hopes of receiving a cosmetic item or a buff, or finding themselves greeted by a hairy big old beast, just like when I go knocking for your mum, and then we knock boots. And then she bites me and sucks my blood like a vampire. That's my one per list. God, I went to a weird place. Just like I did to a bum. However, aside from getting your skeleton punched right out of you, you could also get this, a little reference to the Charlie Brown and Snoopy show, or more specifically, It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown Halloween Special, and it takes the form of this, a simple rock. I'm assuming you've animated a rock on top of my finger here, Osley, who is editing this. Look at that rock. Isn't it beautiful? I'm going to take a bite out of the rock now. Ow, my teeth. Has he edited that in? He's probably not done anything, I just look like an idiot. Brilliant. So yeah, you can get this single-use item that does, admittedly, a pretty pathetic amount of damage when you throw it, but still, it's a nice reference to the fact that Charlie Brown always used to get rocks in his trick-or-treat bags because of his awful luck. It is a lovely throwback that can literally be thrown at backs, which when you consider things isn't actually that bad, because it could have been a real-life vampire trying to nosh on you instead. Number 4, Batman Arkham Knight. The Batman games have always been loosely tied to the horror genre, largely thanks to its gothic noir presentation. It's a city akin to hell and perpetually shown in night, villains who just prey on the weak and a hero that uses fear to battle his foes, and they all combine to make something that is truly terrifying in places. And there is one jump scare among many that really stands out in this series, which can be found in Arkham Knight. And we all know about the utterly trouser-browning moment when we encounter Man-Bat for the first time, when you're just grappling up the side of a building and then just being met with this horribly deformed face. It was very unexpected and therefore so very, very effective. However, even once you've taken down this leathery creature and locked it away in the GCPD, it's not actually the last that you'll see of Man-Bat, because if you play this game on Halloween, you'll encounter him again. On this date, the game resets the jump scare, and if you return to the GCPD containment cell where the villain was contained, you will find it smashed open and a guard nearby explaining the breakout. And the officer even ends the speech with, "Happy Halloween, eh? Well, thanks, mate. I'll tell you what, I'll forward you the dry cleaning bill next time and see if you're so cheery then." Number 3, Until Dawn. So here's the thing, I know I made it very clear that this was meant to be about secrets on a list that only happen on the Halloween date itself, but you know what, I'm going to include this because the next entry is just really nice. Even though it spans before October the 31st, it was just a lovely little surprise, and you can find it in Until Dawn, which is a kind of niche title because it's a mixture of choose-your-own-adventure style gameplay while looking and acting like a proper B-movie schlockfest. It was brilliant fun, and thanks to its numerous endings and fates, it is a fantastic title to fire up again and again. And thanks to an event that Supermassive Games ran back in 2015, there is yet another reason to double down on the death, and that is the curious case of the Hidden Pumpkins, which sounds like a really good or awful children's book. The event ran for a week around Halloween in 2015 and saw the developer hide 11 pumpkins inside the game, some of which were deviously snuck away, so that it was a real treat for those who found them all. There was even a hashtag set up for fans to send pictures of them alongside these 11 pumpkins, but unfortunately, it seems that nothing was won or ever claimed for sharing them, making it seem that Supermassive Games had suggested they'd provide a treat, but in fact had provided a trick. How relevant. Number 2, Zoo Tycoon. This next entry is almost a secret simply for how quickly that you'll have to act in order to reap the benefits, and can be found in the wonderful micromanaging Rich Hudson simulator, Zoo Simulator, Zoo Tycoon. Now here, time sure flies when you're having fun, but it also flies in breakneck speed in Zoo Tycoon with days lasting mere seconds. In fact, playing this in real time and watching the world whiz by so quickly might even give you pause for thought about the mortality of our human race, of our place in this infinitesimal speck of dirt that just operates and floats inside this cold and emotionless vacuum of space. Hey, look, a pumpkin! Sorry, it got a bit dark there. Just wanted to move things back to what we were actually talking about. Yes, if you manage to pause the title as it hits October the 31st, then you will see in the purchase menu new items for sale, including a jack-o'-lantern, which is a lovely little treat, isn't it? But it's not the only trick this game pulls, because if you actually play the game on October the 31st in real life, then all of your buildings and guests' clothing will change to black and orange to help you get in the mood. Fantastic. At number 1, Team Fortress 2. When it comes to putting in effort around Halloween, Team Fortress 2 might well be the leader, as not only does it change its name to Scream Fortress, love it, but also adds in a ton of new themed content around this time for players to get stuck into. For a start, the event, which has been rolling on since 2009, added in a new boss battle in 2010 in the form of the Horseless, Headless Horseman, which haunts the servers. Now what happens is that after a set amount of time, a truce will be declared between the warring sides, and now they must work together in order to take down the boss. Doing so will net them with a nice hat, and who doesn't love a good hat? Me, apparently. And it's a tradition that's been going on for years. In fact, it reached a kind of climax in 2014 because here the Doomsday map was reskinned to be that of a haunted carnival, and the boss this time round was Marasmus, who was voiced by none other than Nolan North. The map challenged teams to get a box of tickets up to the top of a carnival attraction to win, but once they had done so, the entire player list would then be transported into one last mini-game style challenge. These could range from dodgem races and duck hunting. It was a brilliant way of celebrating spookiness with style. However, there's a secret going on which qualifies it for this list, and you could find it in the event that if you played on Halloween and were to use the taunt button, there was a slim chance that your character would perform part of the Thriller dance, leading some players to obviously try and invite sniper fire and hope to avoid it with this gravity-defying move. And it worked a fair amount of times. And there we go, my friends. Those were 8 video game secrets that only happen on Halloween. Pretty spooky, right? I hope that you enjoyed that, my friends, and I hope that you have a fantastic Halloween, whatever you are getting up to, because I hope that this is actually going out on Halloween. I hope that the scheduling gods have looked down at me and just said, look, that bold guy there who's tried to do a Halloween-themed list, let's actually get him out on time. Fingers crossed you're watching this on Halloween. Who knows? Who knows with this place, eh? But still, I hope that you have a fantastic day, whatever you are getting up to. And I hope that you are treating yourself fairly, both physically and mentally, because you know what? It can be hard. We can play tricks on each other's brains all the time. And you know what? We should be treating ourselves. We should be treating ourselves fairly. And I can't overstate this. If you are struggling with your mental health, then that is absolutely okay. You are not alone with this. There are so many people out there in the same position as you, and there are so many support options for you as well. Friends, family, and professionals in the support industry. People care way, way more than you might realize. And yes, sometimes it is a difficult conversation to have with people. I can totally understand that. But here, in this comment section, we are family, my friends. You can let loose. It is absolutely fine. No one is going to judge you. You are not alone. And I hope that you're okay. Big love from me to you. And if you want to follow me at RetroJ with a 0, you can do so at RetroJ with a 0 over on Twitter. Look at that, reference myself. Brilliant, I'll be quoting myself next. Jules Guild 2019. Ridiculous. And if you want to do something a bit different, you can go follow me on Live and Let's Dice over on YouTube, where I play board games with my friends outside of the WhatCulture offices. It's a good laugh. Go check it out. You might find something there you like. Anyway, have an incredibly spooky day, whatever you are getting up to. You've been awesome. Never forget that. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye, guys.